Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, over the weekend, I had the experience to go to the Cleveland Classic Arcade Gaming Show in Cleveland. This was actually the 25th year of the show. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a disappointment compared to previous years. But there's still some pretty cool stuff that I found. Some of it I didn't even know existed. I'll be honest, I've kind of been calming down a little bit on collecting, given that I have just about everything I need. But even so, there were a couple things I wanted, and a couple things that I wasn't necessarily looking for, but it was way too cool and way too good of a deal to just pass up. So anyway, let's get into it. The first thing that I got was Tony Hawk's Underground for the original Xbox. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I would have preferred the GameCube version, but I could not find it there. This was only $5 though, so for that, I wasn't gonna pass it up. I'm pretty sure I can play this on my 360. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure this is backwards compatible. If not, I do still have an original Xbox to test this out on. So yeah. On top of that, on top of getting Underground, I also got Ratatouille for the PS2. You might be like, okay, shovelware. I mean, yeah, but honestly, there's something about these old licensed games that's really charming. They actually put effort into these games back in the day. A lot of those licensed games from the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox generation really had a higher quality, believe it or not. That's the reason SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom got a remake in 2020. So I don't think something like this will get a remake, but there is a certain quality to a game like this that you just don't get nowadays. You don't see that. Now these shovelware games are just that, shovelware. But this was actually a cool game. This is actually a good game, believe it or not, even if it's a short game. My friend French Fry the Fish actually recommended this one, so shout out to him. And then I also got the Atari Flashback Collection for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but it does say $15 on here. I actually got it for 10. The seller told me he'd sell it for 10. My friend N64 Score 80 was the one that recommended this, so shout out to him. But I'm not really a big Atari guy. He's more of that. He really likes the Atari Jaguar for some reason. But I don't know. I probably would have preferred the other Atari collection. They didn't have that, but this is still a cool collection. I hear it's got like over 100 games, so I'll have to check it out and let you know what I think about it. And then that's all in terms of games, kind of, but I'll get into that in a moment. So then I also went to a stand that was selling Game Boy accessories. He had this box out in front, and it was just kind of like a grab bag of just random stuff. So the first thing I got was this, it's called the Game Changer for the Game Boy Advance. I actually have my SP Ice Blue plugged into it right now. It's an AGS 101 with the brighter screen. And I do have 3 games in there, being Leaf Green, Golden Sun, and then also Super Mario Bros. 3. But it's a cool little accessory that lets you just switch between the games without actually having to unplug them. There's also a hand grip, so it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. Unfortunately though, my vision's not as good as it used to be, so playing on this tiny screen just really isn't as appealing. If I'm gonna play this, I'm probably gonna play it more on my Switch OLED or emulation or something like that. Maybe the Game Boy player for the GameCube. That's how I'm gonna play Game Boy Advance games. I'm really not gonna play them on actual hardware most of the time. But still cool to have nonetheless. And then as for other accessories I got, they did have this cool Hyperkin bag that they were just giving out at the show. They were just giving these away. And it's actually a pretty nice high quality bag. And so in the bag, I got this, another bag, a Game Boy bag. So the thing about this Game Boy bag is there were actually games in here. That wasn't something I knew when I first picked it up. But sure enough, when I got home from the show, we looked inside and there were games inside. So inside, I got Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, pretty cool game. It's like a remaster of the original Super Mario Brothers on the NES for the Game Boy Color. But yeah, pretty cool game. It's got a open world, or not open world, sorry, a world map rather. Not everything's got an open world, but it's got a world map, similar to like Mario World and the later Marios. But pretty cool game that I had as a kid that I found in here. I also got a Winnie the Pooh game. I mean, kind of shovelware, but hey, for free, basically. Still a cool find. It's not Piglet's Big Game, unfortunately. You know, that would have been cooler. I actually didn't even see that at the show. But still a cool find. If you didn't know, Piglet's Big Game is like a survival horror game, kind of, for the PS2 and the GameCube. It also has a Game Boy Advanced version, but people are going crazy over it. It actually like skyrocketed from like $5 to like $100 last year. And I did have the opportunity to play it, but I also got Super Mario Land 1. This is the first Mario game for the Game Boy. It actually released on the release date. And I actually didn't have this in the collection, so cool to add it. And then lastly, and this is like a nothing title, but still cool, Powerpuff Girls for the Game Boy Color. I mean, again, nothing, but hey, for free, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, again, I didn't actually know that these were in here, so if you're watching this, the person that sold this to me, I'm sorry. I guess if you want these back, contact me. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. So anyway, I also got in that same group, at that same stand, I also got a adapter that lets you do email on your Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. Yes, you heard that right. I don't think it works on the DS, but it does work on the Game Boy Player. So maybe I'll do a video on this later. And it actually has a jack to plug in like a phone line. And from what I've heard, there's actually a way to still get this running nowadays with third-party software, which is pretty cool. It also comes with a prepaid card inside. I don't think it works anymore. I don't even think the number is actually in operation anymore. There is a customer service line, but still pretty cool. And then I also got, lastly, a wheel for the Game Boy Advanced, the original Game Boy Advance, rather. So it only works with the fat model, the one that's more comfortable to hold. But it actually works with F-Zero and Mario Kart. I don't know if I'll open this, but this is still a really cool thing to add to the collection. It is still sealed, that's why I don't think I'll open it, but it's still really cool regardless. And I got those 4 accessories, the ones that I showed you, for $15, which is a pretty cool deal. Okay, I did almost forget. I did also get Xenosaga for the PlayStation 2. This is a precursor to the Xenoblade series. I just got episode 1. I do still want to try to track down episode 2 and 3. 3 is super expensive though, and I think 2 is also gone up in price. But I got this for $15, so this was a cool little find also to add to the collection. We did actually try to trick our friend French fry. Sorry, French fry. But we did try to trick our friend, and we were like, "Oh yeah, check out what I got in this bag." And then I showed him Pokemon Leaf Green, and he was like freaking out. He was so like, he thought that was crazy. We did tell him the games I actually got, but it was still pretty funny. Yeah, but that was my experience with CCAG. I was a little disappointed this year that I didn't see Time Traveler like in the previous year, 2024. He's this like caricature. He has his own movie. It's called Back from 2005. Great movie, by the way. You can find it for free on Tubi. So go check it out. I want to just shout him out. I did actually have a cameo in his video last year at CCAG. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't see him there this year. Still shout out to him. Great guy. He was actually selling like bootleg DVDs. You'd have to watch the movie to kind of get the joke, but he was selling bootleg DVDs of his movies. Brilliant marketing campaign, honestly. But anyway, shout out to him. And that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you thought of what I picked up. Let me know what you just think of these shows in general. Have you ever been to one? And yeah, thanks for checking out the channel. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. It would really help out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!